Yes, sir. Well, it's good to be. Hold up here. It's good to be with all of you this morning, this evening, whatever it is for you. It's good to be with you. So I intend just to take a few minutes to kind of give you a sense of encouragement through a song that I've recently learned. I'm one of the song leaders here at Creve Hall. So recently, I've been tasked with um, the task of bringing new songs to the attention of the congregation so that we can be edified by new words to sing, things that bring meaning to our lives. This morning in our Bible class, I taught the young adult class a new song that I was brought to my attention a couple of weeks ago, and it's called The Hymn of Heaven. And I'd never heard of it before. And I really loved the melodies and the harmonies in the song. The music is beautiful, which is important. But really, the words are what have really stuck out to me. That I think it's an incredible song, and so I want to read the lyrics to you, and I'll try to read it at a pace that will allow you to hear and understand the meaning of these words. And then what I'll want to do after that is kind of pull out a few things that stuck out to me and have meant something to me just by the words that are in this song. So it goes like this. How I long to breathe the air of heaven, where pain is gone and mercy fills the streets, to look upon the one who bled to save me and walk with him for all eternity. And I'll skip to the next verse and read the chorus at the end. Every prayer we prayed in desperation, the songs of faith we sang through doubt and fear, in the end, we'll see that it was worth it when he returns to wipe away our tears. On that day, we join the resurrection and stand beside the heroes of the faith. With one voice, 1,000 generations sing, worthy is the Lamb who was slain. Forever he shall reign. So let it be today we shout the hymn of heaven. With angels and the saints, we raise a mighty roar. Glory to our God who gave us life beyond the grave. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord. And so these words, when I listened to this song, really struck me. I got chills listening to it just because of how many things stuck out to me. I love to sing. I love to sing hymns and songs of praises. That's one of my favorite things to do. I've loved doing that ever since I can remember. And something I specifically love to sing about is heaven. And so sometimes when we have our monthly singing nights here at Creve Hall, sometimes I'll pick my whole list and it's just about heaven. And the reason, because when really anything all encompassing in life, when anything brings you down, whether it be just pain of losing family members, pain of losing a job, pain of not, attaining some type of goal that you were trying to accomplish, things that weigh you down and bring us down because we're too inward focused and too focused on this earth to really understand what we're here for. And that's to have that hope of heaven, that goal of heaven. And so something that stuck out to me at the beginning of this song was talking about how I long to breathe the air of heaven where pain is gone and mercy fills the streets. In Revelation 21, verses 3 and 4, it says, And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, Behold, the dwelling place of God is with man. He will dwell with them, and they will be his people. God himself will be with them as their God. He will wipe away every tear from their eye, and death shall be no more. Neither shall there be mourning, nor crying, nor pain anymore, for the former things have passed away. So I don't know what in your life you've experienced. We all have different experiences in our life. Some have experienced life longer than others. And so maybe you've had more opportunity for things to come about in your life that have brought you down. I know in just my short 26, almost 27 years, I've had quite a few things that have brought me down to a point where I couldn't see anywhere up from the dirt that I felt like I fell down face flat into the dirt. Didn't know what was going on. Didn't know how I was going to make it through. But that's something that we will never have to experience again in heaven. There is no more pain of losing things you've tried to accomplish in life. No more pain of losing people in your life, the pillars in your life that have held you up. And that's something that I cannot wait for. I cannot wait to have to, or I cannot wait to not have to worry about the pain of this life and the worries of, if I make this decision, how will it affect me? We'll just be there, and we'll be there forever singing praises to our God. That's one thing I cannot wait for. Another thing is it talks about the prayers that we prayed in desperation. I don't know about you, but in my life, there have been times where I've been in such desperate need or desperate want of something that I've been so focused that I have not looked outward to my God and to the scriptures, because I'm thinking, how can I fix this problem? How can I get myself out of this? It's in my personality to want to fix things on my own. I want to be a self-starter, a self-driver. But in these times where we're in desperate need of the grace that saves, the power of prayer, we have to focus on God is the one that's going to get us through. He's the ultimate Savior. We have no way of getting ourselves through this life without him. And so when I sing the second verse that says, every prayer we prayed in desperation, that reminds me to go back to God. Don't focus on myself. Don't focus on my own actions of getting myself to where I want to be. God is the one that's ultimately going to be getting me to that point. And his plan is much bigger and much greater than mine, and I'm not going to be able to see it. But I can pray in desperation to say, God, help my unbelief. I am struggling to see beyond this point, but I know that your plan is going to be ultimately done in this process if I continue to believe and have the faith that you're going to walk me through this. Another thing that it says is the songs of faith that we sang through doubt and fear. And again, going back to those times of maybe it's hard to admit, but I think we've all had times where we doubted the plan of God, doubted the providence of God, and had feared what's to come in our lives. I know that I have. We sing the songs of faith, and it reminds us that there is so much more at play than what we can see. And in 1 Peter 1, it says, 1 Peter 1, 8 and 9, it says, though you have not seen him, you love him. Though you do not now see him, you believe in him and rejoice with joy that is inexpressible and filled with glory, obtaining the outcome of your faith, the salvation of your souls. Concerning the salvation, the prophets who prophesied about the grace that was to be yours searched and inquired carefully. And I also want to go back. I skipped over a passage about prayers in desperate need. Psalm 86, the first 7 verses of Psalm 86, it's a beautiful cry out to God. Incline your ear, O Lord, and answer me, for I am poor and needy. Preserve my life, for I am godly. Save your servant who trusts in you. You are my God. Be gracious to me, O Lord, for to you do I cry all the day. Gladden the soul of your servant, for to you, O Lord, do I lift up my soul. For you, O Lord, are good and forgiving, abounding in steadfast love to all who call upon you. Give ear, O Lord, to my prayer. Listen to my plea for grace. In the day of trouble, I call upon you, for you answer me. So we know that God answers us in the days of our troubles and in the days of our doubts. And so, again, I love singing this song because it just reminds me who I'm ultimately supposed to be relying on in those situations. It's nothing that I can do to get myself through or to get myself into a position that I'm aiming for. And then ultimately, the song is about heaven. And so, all those little bits and pieces in the verses I love. But ultimately, it's just all encompassing of heaven. So let it be today we shout the hymn of heaven with angels and the saints, we raise a mighty roar. I cannot wait till the day that we are all able to gather and sing to God with the angels and the saints. And also in one of the verses, I believe it's the third verse of this song, it says, with one voice, 1,000 generations sing, worthy is the Lamb who was slain. 1,000 generations is a lot of people. There's a lot of people that have come before us, people in our families that have shown us the way. Mr. Paul talked about my grandfather. My grandfather, I know, is in heaven. And one day I want to be able to see him. But not only him, it also says to be able, in this song, we join the resurrection and stand beside the heroes of the faith. So not just people that we've known in our lives that have held us up, but also the people that we read about right here. That sometimes we can get this focus of, well, that's just a Bible story. But these were real people. These were people that went through a lot more than maybe even we face, and yet they still cried out to God. They went through that pain. They had the faith that saves. We can read in Hebrews 11 how many people went through things and had that faith because they had that hope in heaven. And some even didn't even have all the scriptures like we have today, and they still placed their faith in that. And so in summary, this song has meant a lot to me just the couple of weeks I've learned it because of all of these things. So let's hold on to the hope of heaven, because there's not going to be any more pain. We also need to focus our prayers to God in these times that we hardly can lift our own head, and know that this faith that saves us will bring us to heaven one day. And there will be so many people that we are excited to meet there, whether it be people that began, the generations of God's people way back in the day of the first century church, or even going back to the days of Adam and Noah, or those people that we've known in our lives that have shown us the way, face to face, our parents, our grandparents. And that's what I cannot wait for. So hopefully in the few minutes I've shared with you, you've been able to grasp a greater sense of hope for heaven, and make sure that you were living every day to make sure that is going to be our ultimate destination.